Hey TFLers, Rob Booker here. Tonight for me, and in the morning for some of you, or in whatever, coming up next, we have the unemployment rate from the UK. And that's pretty important. That's coming up in just a few hours from the time I'm making this video. And I want to take a look at the British pound US dollar. It's quite a confusing picture right now. There are two main things that stand out to me. One is that I missed a buy trade. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's the truth. We missed a daily pivot just a couple of days ago, and I've missed this trade twice. It's done a really nice job of jumping up after divergence. But eventually, it's going to jump up, and it's going to turn around. When we missed this daily pivot here, that was setting up downward movement in a downward trend kind of a situation. If I could pick just one kind of overarching theme for the next, let's say, 2 to 5 weeks, I would say dollar strength. But that doesn't mean that we want to sell the British pound right now. What we want to do is sell the British pound on movement upward. And I would not be surprised to see the British pound get to 68.60 or even as high perhaps as 68.80 and then turn around and start dropping. And the real thing that we need to see for a trend trade, this would be a trifecta trend trade going down, is we need to see a movement upward and then bearish divergence, a break of a trend line, and then movement down. You can set that whole thing up actually with the trifecta robot inside the trifecta course. You could also, if you're awake, you could set that trade up if you see it. We may not even get this high. The divergence and everything may form down here, and optimally it would be a tiny divergence. I can't shake the idea though that dollar strength is coming just because of this missed pivot. I can't shake it. It's just systematic. We could go a little bit higher before that happens. We could stop right here before that happens, but I'd like to be on the lookout for that trade. One other way to look at this is through the lens of the weekly chart. Not the weekly chart, the weekly pivots and the 60-minute chart. And we are divergent and jumping upward here on this weekly pivot chart. And I'm just at the point right now where it just doesn't seem that odd to see a movement to 68.80, 68.90. It seems like we could get back up to that weekly pivot one more time and then create a sell trade. Why so serious about this sell business? The answer is we've got a monthly pivot for the month of May that is down at 67.80. 67.80. And I just think that Mr. Market wants to take a trip down to that monthly pivot. So keep an eye out for that trade overnight. That's my favorite trade of the overnight session. And of course, we'll be back in the New York session tomorrow morning with more. You're on TFL.